Hello! In this video, we're going to see how you can use anynines to dynamically update the configuration of a running PostgreSQL instance. Here on my laptop, I have a local Kubernetes cluster provisioned with kind. Anynines is already installed in it, as we can see. If we do kubectl get pod namespace anynines system, we see that the anynines control plane is there, up and running. But right now there is no PostgreSQL instance, so I'm going to go ahead, write a YAML manifest for one in my editor, and then apply it. Let's do it. So it's here, it's already written, and the thing I want to stress out is that besides the spec fields that you've already seen from the previous videos in this series, we added new ones called parameters. And the spec.parameters fields represents the truly PostgreSQL-specific configuration parameters. These are the parameters that end up in the PostgreSQL.conf server file, if you know PostgreSQL well. And here specifically, I'm setting the parameters MaxConnections and SSL mean protocol versions. The name should be pretty self-explanatory. For example, SSL mean protocol version means that the PostgreSQL replicas that will make up this instance won't accept TLS connections with a protocol version older than 1.2. You're not forced to specify these parameters in the manifest because when you apply it, anynines will set sensible defaults for you, but you can definitely express your desired values if they differ from the default. To learn what parameters you can set here, check out the documentation of our project. So now let's go ahead and apply this manifest to provision a PostgreSQL instance. kubectl apply file name PostgreSQL instance. kubectl get pod so that, oh, sorry, I forgot the watch. Let's get the pods with a watch to see the pods as they get up and running, because as you might have noticed, we want 3 replicas to be running. Okay, as we can see now, all the 3 replicas of our PostgreSQL instance are up and running. And each replica will have a PostgreSQL.conf file with the configuration parameters set to the values that we specified in the spec here. And in fact, we can verify that. Here I have a small helper script. We don't care about the details and internals, but it should suffice you to know that it simply shows to standard out the content of the PostgreSQL.conf of a random replica from our instance. So if we actually execute it, we see there are a lot of parameters, and let's actually double check that the value for one of the parameters we set, for example this one, SSL mean protocol version, is what we expect. So grep SSL mean protocol version, and yep, we can see that it's equal to TLS v1.2 like we initially expressed in the spec. However, it might happen that after an instance has been running for a long time, you need to update some of its configuration parameters. How can you do that? And the answer is incredibly simple. You can just go back to your original YAML manifest that you applied, change the configuration parameter that you want to update to the new value, and then reapply the manifest again. And the PostgreSQL instance will reconfigure itself to use the new value. So for example, here, imagine that we want to be stricter in which TLS protocol versions we accept. So let's go from 1.2 to 1.3, and let's re-update the manifest. Okay, the update went through, and we should see that our pods are still up and running. And if we now run the helper script again to see the value of the configuration parameters, and we grep the parameter that we just updated, we should see that that parameter has the new value. So let's do it And yep, that worked as intended. Now the value is TLS v1.3 rather than TLS v1.2, like we requested when we updated the spec here.